So I am just going to get my slide going. Today we're just going to be covering some CPDS updates to expect as we go into the next biennium. Some people may have seen them already as well, as they're in CPDS. Okay, so one of the first big changes that we have done, it's actually not that big, but it's going to be really useful in a lot of different ways, is give the ability to, when you're adding a new participant, you're now going to have the ability to choose whether this is an individual participant. And the individual participant is your typical kind of cost share scenario with a private landowner. They're doing work on their land, or you can choose an organization. This is great for like the new district implemented projects. So where the district is actually the participant, they're the ones who are liable and responsible for this whole project to go through. This would be a great time to choose the organization button. The information down below will change slightly. So depending if you chose organization or individual, this is also great if you're working on public lands or if you're wanting to just list it out as like the farm name or the LLC or whatever works. This has kind of been a long time coming, and so we're really happy to finally have this. We think it's going to be really beneficial in a lot of different ways. So that is one, and that is live already. So if you are going in and adding a new participant, you have this option to use this now. One thing, you cannot go back and change existing participants. So that's part of it. So this only applies to new ones. And then the next big change is going to be how we do CREP authorizations. So what is actually happening is that we are connecting CPDS to our financial database. So this is going to help the finance staff. This is going to help district staff. So right now, when you are requesting funds for CREP maintenance and cost share, you have to, one, go into CPDS, fill out all of the funding information, make sure all of the CREP contract information is complete. Plus, you then have to fill out that Excel spreadsheet, send it over to Brian. He approves it, sends it to me. I enter it manually into our financial database. It's a big load for everybody, really. So what is happening now, and I will say this, the CPDS and financial database are not 100% linked yet, but this is where we're headed. We're hoping really early on in the biennium that they are linking and talking to each other. But what will happen now, so when a district needs to go in and request funds for CREP cost share and maintenance, they're going to go into CPDS as they normally would. They would go to that BMP that has CREP funding tied to it. They've already filled out all the CREP, all the FSA, all that information down below on the funding tab. So all that information is complete. And now they just have to go in and basically request the funds. So they'll add a new record like always. They'll say either CREP maintenance or cost share. They're going to enter in that proposed dollar amount. And then they're going to have to hit this button that says CREP auth. So when they hit that CREP authorization button, what that does is it's going to go to this next screen. So this pop-up is going to come up, and most of this information is actually going to be filled out based on all that other CREP information that's down below on the funding tab. Most of that's going to be pre-populated in here. So you'll just have a couple little options and buttons to fill out here, and then you're going to hit submit. And once you hit submit, if you were to go back to that funding tab, we would see that that request is now pending. So Brian now has the opportunity to go in and review that request. He can deny it if something were wrong or he had a question, and you guys can go back and forth about it, but it would say pending request. And then once he approves it, it will then go in and say application approved. and the awarded dollar amount is going to show up in the next column. And then what happens from here, it actually gets sent over to me in the financial database, and the financial database is going to pick that award up and that BMP up and basically put that into the CREP grant that is established for the district. So it's really going to cut down on a lot of duplicate work on the district and the SCC end. And also a plus side to this is that once we make a payment on a BMP on CREP maintenance or CREP cost share, it's going to update CPDS. This is going to be huge and extremely helpful. We get a lot of questions about like how much funding does this contract have left remaining, and so it'll now be able to be tracked in CPDS, and this is going to hopefully kind of help with like return funding at the end of the biennium for CREP, because a lot of the times like we'll request $500 for maintenance for spring and the bills only add up to $350. Well, there's still $150 left over, but then that next round of maintenance comes around and we request that same $500 again, not taking into account that there's still $150 on the table basically. And so this should hopefully help that return, basically help everybody track the funding better on the basically by contract, because I know that can get pretty confusing. So this should really be helpful on both ends. So we're really excited about that. And then the next thing is, because we are linking the CPDS and the financial database together, I just want to kind of touch on the fact that we do fund by BMP. That's nothing new for Shellfish and NRI, but when it's going to be the same. So when we go in and we fund a Shellfish BMP or an NRI BMP, that is going to send over to the financial database as that BMP and that funding. So it's really, we're just trying to streamline the whole process. And then I do just want to note that for Shellfish and NRI funding, to please mark them as when they're ready for funding as either Shellfish investments or natural resource investments. So those are the funding, the program drop downs that you would want to choose for either of those. And then, so that is actually it on the CPDS updates. I did actually want to go and show you guys something real quick, because we're having a really big kind of glitch, and I think a lot of people have seen it, and I've been kind of troubleshooting it with a lot of people from a lot of different districts. And right now there is a glitch that NCON is working on, and it's the fact that this program drop down on the funding tab is not able to be seen by non-administrative. So basically only Brian, Courtney, and myself can see this program drop down. So if it seems like a lot of people are going into CPDS right now trying to update, which is awesome. They're trying to add new projects and everything, but they're getting stuck at this funding tab. So I did just want to update that NCON is working on that. They do hope to have a resolution early this week. If there's something that is, extremely urgent, please let me know, because I can go in and update it for you if we need to do that. So guys, that is really it. There is not a ton of updates for CPDS. We are excited about the financial database and CPDS linking up. That's been what the CPDS team has been working on, and it's been a big job, just trying to get everything correct between two different databases to talk and exchange information back and forth. But we think it's going to be really beneficial to everybody. And so I just wanted to open the floor up. If there's any questions that anybody has about CPDS in general, we can cover anything you'd like.
Hi, Melissa, this is Audrey, and
Hi.
I'm not seeing any questions at all.
Okay.
So, folks, if there are any questions, here's your chance. Well, I guess not. So good job, Melissa.
Awesome. Sounds good. I know not a huge update, but that's just what we've got going on.
Well, I think the changes you've made for the CREP funding and linking the two is going to be extremely helpful. So I'm really glad to see it.
Yes, thank you. It's been a long time coming, so we're very excited about that. It's been a big workload as well for everybody.
Great, thank you, Melissa. Is there another person we should make presenter now, or?
Nope, I think that was it for this.
Oh, okay. Audrey, did you have anything you wanted to cover in the remaining time? I think we have scheduled until 2 o'clock for this session.
I do not have anything lined up. I actually thought there would be more, but I guess short and sweet.
Okay. Well, thank you, Melissa and Audrey then. And if there's no other questions, I think we will just take a break then until our 2 o'clock session with Bill Eller and the elections update. We don't want to start early in case folks are in other rooms and hoping to catch this this next one at 2 o'clock. So
Yeah, and a question just came in. So the question is,
Okay.
the question is, we will need to be able to enter NRI project in CPDS in order to put in addendum, right?
That's correct. Everything will have to be in CPDS. Because for the new NRI, when you guys complete the addendum, you're gonna want to identify like the landowner ID and basically every information about that project so that we can look it up in CPDS.
Okay, good question. Thank you. Any other questions? And I don't know if the questioner was here for the earlier session, but just to reiterate, we have been assured that if you don't have your addendum done by June 25th, you will have an opportunity to do so in July, and it doesn't impact your funding. And other than that, I'm not seeing any further questions. Oh, I'm sorry. There was a follow-up on that question. If that glitch
Okay.
is not resolved by next week, you want people to contact you directly, Melissa?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, there we are.